Good morning and welcome to Spooky Stories for Halloween. Today's stories I'm going to tell you also involve that master suite. And one of them happened shortly after we moved in, when I knew there was something paranormally wrong with the house, but we couldn't really prove it yet. So in this particular case, I'd gone to bed and I woke up and it was getting to daylight, but it wasn't quite daylight yet. And I saw a sort of whitish light over to my right, which is where the master bathroom was. There was a doorway that went into that open doorway. And standing in that doorway was a short, stout woman, and she was dressed like a farmer's wife. She was wearing one of those kind of aprons that are full aprons that cover your whole clothes, belted at the waist, and she had her hair in a bun. And at first I thought, because I hadn't really seen a lot in the house yet, that maybe I was still groggy, but I realized later on that morning that I was fully awake when I saw her. So that was an interesting story, but a little more interesting than that was something that happened a number of years after that. It was a Saturday morning, and my husband and I were just laying in bed. We'd woken up, broad daylight, and we were just talking about what was going to happen that day and things like that. And all of a sudden, we felt the bed, and this bed is huge. The posters on that bed are like this big around. The bed probably weighs 200 to 300 pounds on its own. We felt this bed lift up off of the floor and slam into the wall at our head and then drop down. And that was very, very unnerving that it could pick something up that big and do that to it. This house also had a habit of throwing things. One day when I was at home working in my home office, I could see from my home office into the kitchen. And as I've mentioned before, maybe I haven't mentioned it before, this was during the 2008 to 2012-13 time frame where we were having in the United States a lot of economic difficulty. Probably the rest of the world was too. But we had people who were living with us because of that, because they had lost their job and then they had lost their home. And we had one lady in particular and her son living in the home. And she was standing at the dishwasher with one of the cabinet doors open, and she was very short. She was like 4 foot, maybe 4'11", maybe. And she was putting some glasses away on the bottom shelf of the cabinet. She couldn't reach any shelf except the bottom shelf of the cabinet because she was so little. And I'm sitting there talking with her a little bit as she's putting these glasses away out of the dishwasher. And above her head on the top shelf of that cupboard, out flies a big glass, and it flies over her head really forcefully and really far, 10 feet probably from that area where she was standing, over her head, and drops to the tile floor. That tile floor, fortunately for all of us, did not shatter that glass. So it was a good thing. But she saw that happen, and I saw that happen at the same time. It flew out of there. Tomorrow I'll tell you a little bit more about the things that it moved, the poltergeist kind of activity we had in the house. And if you like this story, hit the plus button, trying to get to 1,000 followers so that I can go live. And hit the like button. And have a great day. Thanks. And come back tomorrow for another story.